the sacred pilgrimage. The Temple of Humanity. They stood before the massive facade of the Temple of Humanity, a gigantic obsidian structure carved with scenes of humans performing miraculous feats throughout the ages. This was the center of their entire civilization, where all Zolplorans would make the sacred pilgrimage at least once in their lifetime to bow before the altars of human gods. High Priest Zuruk felt the weight of this moment as he prepared to lead the most important ritual in generations, one that could determine the fate of his species. The Holy Scriptures were clear. Today they would summon the human gods themselves into fleshly avatars. Failure meant extinction. Success meant salvation. The opening of the Forbidden Gates. Zuruk shuddered as he uttered the first words to open the Forbidden Gates. Now was the time to call the gods of humanity back to Zoria. Now was the time to worship them in person as no one had in centuries past. Zuruk lit the bloodstone incense and began the ritual chants to open the celestial gates. The acrid smoke wafted upward through the massive obsidian pillars as the attending priests echoed his incantations. The very walls seemed to hum and vibrate in resonance. The sacred portal. After an hour of rhythmic chanting, Zuruk pulled an ornate key from within his robes. This would open the sacred portal that no one had breached in over 300 years. With trembling apprehension, he inserted the key into the crystalline lock upon the raised central dais. It began to glow and pulse as energy flowed into the chamber's focal points. A cerulean light coalesced into a shimmering oval upon the dais, the very fabric of space-time wavering to reveal a tunnel into another realm. Zuruk stared into the portal in wonder and fear. None had gazed upon the human god's celestial domain in generations. The journey begins. The attending priests prostrated themselves upon the polished obsidian floor in awe. Zuruk steeled himself and stepped onto the dais, standing before the portal's entrance. This was the moment he had prepared his entire life for. He would be the first Zoran in centuries to behold the realm of the gods with his own eyes. His heart pounded in his chest as he passed through the shimmering gateway, crossing the threshold into the domain of divinity. Arrival in the human world. The portal transitioned to reveal a strange landscape under the glow of an alien star. Majestic spires of glass and metal reached to the heavens themselves. Zuruk found himself upon a platform high above a colossal metropolis spread out before him. Small vehicles buzzed between the towering structures like insects flitting about. Zuruk collapsed to his knees and wept. After so many generations of mythology and prophecy, he had finally reached the humans' promised land. Now he must locate and summon the human gods, but where to begin searching this vast alien world? The challenge ahead. The priests awaited his return, expecting him to bring holy salvation at last. He steadied his spirit for the trials ahead. Zuruk slowly rose, steadying himself as he took in the overwhelming sights and sounds of this massive alien city. Strange vehicles darted by high overhead, some kind of advanced metallic carriages that seemed to fly of their own volition. Zuruk's heart pounded, unsure of what to make of this futuristic human landscape. Cautiously, he descended the towering obsidian steps leading down from the gateway portal platform, finding himself emerging onto a wide pedestrian street. There were no humans immediately visible nearby, just row after row of sleek glass and metal facades with alien symbols etched above entryways. The located gemstone. Zuruk contemplated speaking the sacred summoning chants, but feared what might be drawn to his presence here. Zuruk removed a small gemstone-adorned locator artifact from within his robes, clutching it tightly as he recited an incantation to activate its power. The polished azure gem flickered with light, then pulled subtly in one direction. This relic would guide him towards sources of great spiritual energy. It seemed to detect something several blocks away. Zuruk focused his senses and proceeded toward the signal, rode footsteps echoing down the empty avenue. The Federal Reserve Temple. Discovery of the temple. After several minutes of walking, Zuruk arrived at a massive structure adorned with intricate bas-reliefs depicting humans reigning the heavens and harnessing the very forces of creation. Some kind of important religious temple, he deduced as he mounted the steps. The located gemstone throbbed brighter, as if resonating with the power held within. Two towering steel doors barred entry, marked with strange glyphs and words in the human tongue. Federal Reserve Bank. Entering the temple, Zorok carefully placed his palms upon the metal doors, uttering words of power. The doors trembled, energy rippling across their surface, but held fast. The humans had sealed this temple with potent wards. Zorok modified the vibration tones of his spellweaving, searching for the proper harmonic resonance to bypass the blockade. After several attempts, the giant doors shuddered, locks disengaging with a heavy clank. They slowly swung inward, ancient hinges groaning. The inner sanctum, the Federal Reserve Temple's interior, was cavernous, filled with row after row of soaring metal shells covered in strange glowing cubes. Zorok felt the raw energy pulsating through this place. These cubic relics held the condensed spiritual wealth of an entire human civilization, but where were the humans themselves? His located gem tugged further inward, toward a far corner of the vast chamber, where even larger cubes lay hidden. Zorok carefully navigated the labyrinth of shelves, turning down the indicated aisle. The divine vessels. Here, a series of massive cubes were stacked, each easily the size of a dwelling back in the city of Zoranda. Carved bands of silver wrapped these giant cubes, their surfaces etched with intricately glowing symbols that seemed to shift and dance. Zorok could feel waves of power radiating from the cubes, saturating the very air with tangible spiritual energy. These must be vessels containing the very essence of the human gods. Kneeling reverently before them, Zorok prepared to begin the sacred rituals. The Tome of Summonings. Zorok knelt before the towering artifacts, examining the intricate glyphs and pulsating lights that danced across their surfaces. He placed a trembling palm against one of the massive cubes, only to swiftly draw back his hand. Touching them directly nearly overwhelmed his senses, so potent was the raw spiritual energy contained within these relics. Zorok circled the artifacts, considering his next course of action. The sacred scrolls had indicated these vessels held the essences of the human deities, though the process of summoning them physically was left mysteriously vague. Preparing the ritual, he pulled an iron-bound tome from within his robes, the Tome of Summoning, passed down through generations of high priests. It offered fragments of cryptic rituals used to call forth the human gods in eras long past. Zorok puzzled over the ancient verses and geometric sigils inscribed within the tome's time-worn pages, searching for anything resembling the cubes before him now. One passage seemed to describe vessels not unlike these, referring to them as repositories of divine capital. The ritual diagrams depicted priests touching the artifacts at specific points in celestial alignment while intoning lengthy chants. Initiating the ritual. Finding the appropriate ritual passage, Zorok withdrew arcane tools from his robes, crystals, candles, and vials of consecrated oil. He assembled these in a circle around one of the massive cubes, according to the ritual instructions. As he lit the ring of black candles, their flames flared an eerie azure. The very air seemed to thrum with gathering power in resonance with the flickering candlelight. Zorok stood facing the cube, arms raised as he began the multipart incantation. His voice echoed through the vast chamber, strange alien vowels bouncing back from the towering shells in distorted refractions. Awakening the Guardian, the awakening. As he continued the verses, the etched glyphs upon the cube began flowing and changing before his eyes, rearranging into new patterns. Slowly at first, then more rapidly, the cube started to vibrate, the hum of energy building as the ritual progressed. Zorok maintained his focus, though his hands shook with growing trepidation. What power was he unleashing here in this forgotten temple? The priests awaited his return through the celestial portal with the summoned gods, but perhaps this ritual was forbidden for a reason. No, he had spent a lifetime in preparation for this sacred duty. He could not fail his people now. The final verse. Zorok pushed down his doubts and continued the incantation. The cube's glyphic symbols accelerated their cycling, light flaring to nearly blinding brightness. Strange mechanical clanking and hissing sounds emanated from the cube, its smooth surfaces retracting and unfolding like some alien relic. A final verse remained to complete the ritual. Zorak steeled himself and spoke the arcane words, his voice booming within the vaulted chamber. The Guardian appears. In response, the massive cube began reshaping itself, ancient alloys grinding and shifting to take on a new, almost humanoid form. Zorak took an unsteady step back as the cube unfolded into an 8-foot-tall bipedal entity, gleaming beneath the strange interior lights. It stood utterly still, a guardian deity seemingly cast in platinum metal. Zorak marveled at its intricate design, wondering at the craftsmanship and technology required to build such a being. What powers did it command, and would it answer to his summons? The Guardian's challenge. The entity's eyes, twin orbs of pulsing azure, locked onto Zorak. It spoke in a voice like grinding stone. Who dares to summon the Guardian of the Federal Reserve? Zorak hesitated, pulse racing. He had not expected the vessel to possess intelligence and will. Steeling himself, he stepped forward and spoke. I am Zorak, High Priest of Zoria. We seek the aid of the gods of humanity, our creators. Our world faces imminent destruction. Please, Guardian, heed our plea and guide us to your masters. The Guardian's test. The Guardian's glowing eyes flickered, its gaze seeming to peer through Zorak into his very soul. Prove your worthiness, Zorak of Zoria, it intoned. To call upon the gods, you must demonstrate your people's dedication and understanding of their teachings. Your spirit must be tested. A strange metallic rod extended from the Guardian's arm, ending in a gleaming crystal. This device will measure your spiritual essence and intentions. Submit to the test. Submitting to the test. Zorak hesitated only a moment before stepping forward, allowing the Guardian to place the crystal rod against his chest. A warm sensation spread through his body as the device hummed and glowed. His mind flooded with memories of his training, the sacred texts, and the trials he had endured to reach this point. He felt the weight of his people's hopes resting upon his shoulders. The crystal flashed brightly, then retracted into the Guardian's arm. The verdict. The Guardian stood silent and motionless for several long moments. Finally, it spoke. Your spirit is pure, and your intentions are just, Zorak of Zoria. I shall guide you to the Divine Council, the true masters of humanity's legacy. They reside within the inner sanctum, where only the worthy may tread. Follow closely and remain reverent. The Guardian turned and began walking deeper into the temple, its massive strides echoing through the chamber. Zorak followed, heart pounding with a mix of awe and anticipation. His journey was far from over, but this first step had been successful. The gods awaited. The inner sanctum, the Guardian's path. The Guardian led Zorak through a series of winding corridors and grand halls, each more opulent and imposing than the last. The walls were adorned with murals depicting scenes of human achievement and grandeur, their artistry breathtaking. Zorak marveled at the intricate details and the sense of reverence that pervaded every inch of this sacred place. As they walked, he could feel the presence of immense power growing stronger, a tangible force that seemed to resonate with his very being. The inner sanctum entrance. At last, they arrived at a massive set of double doors, ornately carved with celestial motifs and inlaid with precious metals. The Guardian placed its hand upon a sensor, and the doors slowly swung open, revealing a chamber bathed in ethereal light. Zorak hesitated for a moment, overwhelmed by the sheer majesty of the scene before him. The Guardian gestured for him to enter, and with a deep breath, he stepped into the inner sanctum. The Divine Council. The chamber was vast, its domed ceiling painted with scenes of cosmic splendor. At the center stood a circular dais, upon which rested 7 thrones, each occupied by a luminous figure. These were the gods of humanity, their forms radiant and awe-inspiring. Zorak felt a profound sense of humility and wonder as he approached the dais, his heart filled with reverence. The god's inquiry, the central figure, a being of pure light, spoke in a voice that resonated with the very fabric of reality. "Welcome, Zorak of Zoria. You have journeyed far to seek our aid. Speak now, and tell us of your plight." Zorak bowed deeply before the gods, his voice trembling as he recounted the dire situation facing his people. He spoke of the dying world, the failing sun, and the desperate need for divine intervention. The divine deliberation. The gods listened intently, their expressions inscrutable. When Zorak finished, there was a moment of profound silence as the divine beings communed with each other. Their thoughts and intentions were beyond mortal comprehension, but Zorak sensed a deep and ancient wisdom in their deliberations. Finally, the central figure spoke again. "We have heard your plea, Zorak of Zoria. Your people have shown great devotion and faith. We shall grant you the knowledge and power to save your world, but you must prove your worthiness through a series of trials." The trials of worthiness. Zorak's heart skipped a beat. More trials lay ahead, but he was prepared to face whatever challenges the gods deemed necessary. He bowed once more, his voice steady and resolute. "I am ready, great gods. I will undertake these trials and prove my worthiness. Guide me, and I shall not falter." The gods nodded in approval, and the central figure gestured for Zorak to approach the dais closer. As he ascended the steps, each footfall seemed to echo with a weight that resonated through the chamber. The 7 luminous beings regarded him with expressions that conveyed both benevolence and an unfathomable depth of knowledge. The first trial revealed. One of the gods, cloaked in robes that shimmered like starlight, spoke with a voice that sounded like distant echoes converging into clarity. "Zorak of Zoria, the first trial shall test your wisdom and understanding of the sacred balance. In the realm of humans, there exists a device of great power and potential, yet it is sealed away within the archives of human memory. Retrieve this knowledge and bring it forth to us." The quest begins. Zorak bowed deeply once more, accepting the challenge without hesitation. He knew of the device the gods spoke of, a legendary artifact of human ingenuity and knowledge. "As you command, great ones," he intoned, feeling the weight of their expectations settle upon him. With a gesture from the central figure, the guardian stepped forward, offering a small orb pulsating with celestial light. "Take this," the guardian intoned. "It will guide you to the place where the knowledge is hidden." The orb's guidance. Zorak grasped the orb, feeling its warmth and power resonate with his own spiritual energy. It shimmered briefly, then projected a holographic map of the sprawling human cityscape before him. A pinpoint glowed brightly in a distant quadrant, marking the location of the archive where the ancient knowledge lay hidden. "Go forth, Zorak," the central figure's voice echoed through the chamber, "and may the wisdom of humanity's legacy guide you." Setting forth. With renewed determination, Zorak descended from the dais and followed the guardian out of the inner sanctum. The orb's light led him through winding corridors and grand halls, back into the heart of the temple where the artifacts of human civilization lay dormant. As he walked, he reflected on the trials ahead and the fate of his people resting upon his shoulders. The journey to retrieve the hidden knowledge would test not only his intellect, but also his resolve and faith. And so, Zorak embarked on his quest, guided by the celestial awe and the blessings of the gods of humanity. The fate of Zoria and its people hung in the balance, dependent upon his success in unlocking the secrets of the ancient artifact. With each step, he drew closer to the archive, unaware of the challenges and revelations that awaited him in the heart of the human city. The archive of human knowledge. The city of remnants. As Zorak followed the guidance of the celestial orb, the grand halls of the temple gave way to the bustling streets of the human city. The city, once a beacon of civilization, now stood as a testament to its former glory, its towering structures reaching towards the sky like ancient sentinels guarding secrets of the past. The air hummed with the energy of countless lives intertwined amidst the remnants of human achievement. Navigating the urban labyrinth. Guided by the orb's pulsating light, Zorak navigated through the labyrinthine streets and alleys, weaving through crowds of humans and alien visitors alike. The city was a tapestry of cultures and histories, each corner whispering tales of triumph and tragedy. Yet, amidst the cacophony of voices and the rush of life, Zorak remained focused on his mission, the retrieval of the ancient knowledge hidden within the archive. The Archivist's Tale. After hours of traversing the cityscape, Zorak arrived at the archive, a towering edifice of glass and steel that shimmered under the light of distant stars. As he entered, he was greeted by an elderly human archivist, whose eyes sparkled with a lifetime of stories waiting to be told. "Welcome, traveler," the archivist said warmly. "What brings you to our repository of memories?" The artifact unveiled. Zorak explained his quest to retrieve the ancient artifact of human knowledge, guided by the gods themselves. Intrigued by the alien's purpose, the archivist led him deep into the archive, where shelves upon shelves held relics of humanity's past. Finally, they arrived at a chamber bathed in soft, golden light, a sanctum where the artifact lay dormant, waiting for rediscovery, the key to salvation. With reverence, Zorak approached the artifact, a device of intricate design, its surface adorned with symbols of forgotten wisdom. He could feel its dormant power thrumming beneath his touch, resonating with the celestial orb in his possession. As he activated the artifact, holographic displays illuminated the chamber, revealing schematics and ancient texts that held the key to harnessing its potential. A revelation. Among the holographic displays, one image stood out, a blueprint of cosmic proportions, depicting a mechanism capable of harnessing the energy of stars themselves. It was a design born from the collective genius of humanity, a beacon of hope in the face of impending doom. Zorak knew that with this knowledge, he held the key to saving his world and ensuring the survival of his people. Departure. With the artifact secured within a protective casing, Zorak bid farewell to the archivist and retraced his steps through the archive. The celestial orb guided him back to the temple, where the gods awaited his return. As he journeyed, he reflected on the trials that had brought him to this pivotal moment, the wisdom gained, the challenges overcome, and the unwavering faith that had sustained him throughout. And so Zorak emerged from the archive, carrying with him the legacy of human ingenuity and the hope of a brighter future for Zoria. The gods of humanity watched over him, their celestial presence guiding his path as he prepared to face the trials ahead. Armed with newfound knowledge and determination, he set forth once more, ready to harness the power of the artifact and fulfill his destiny as the savior of his world. The Celestial Forge. Preparing for the trials. With the artifact of human knowledge secured, Zorak returned to the temple where the gods awaited him. The celestial orb guided him through the winding corridors, back to the inner sanctum where the divine council resided. As he approached the central dais, he felt a mixture of anticipation and reverence, knowing that the trials to come would test not only his skills, but also his resolve. Divine guidance. The luminous figures on the thrones regarded Zorak with sullen grace, their presence casting a palpable aura of power and wisdom. The central figure, emanating pure light, spoke with a voice that resonated through the chamber. "Zorak of Zoria, you have returned with the artifact of human knowledge. Now you must harness its power and prove yourself worthy of our aid." The Celestial Forge revealed. In response to the god's directive, the temple's architecture shifted, revealing a hidden chamber beneath the dais, a celestial forge, bathed in the radiance of cosmic energies. The forge hummed with potential, its mechanisms poised to transform raw materials into tools of unimaginable power. Zorak approached cautiously, awed by the sight before him. Trial of Creation. The gods instructed Zorak to use the artifact to activate the celestial forge, to channel its energies and craft a device capable of harnessing the star's power. With trembling hands, Zorak placed the artifact into a central pedestal, aligning its symbols with those of the forge. As he activated the device, the forge responded, bathing him in a cascade of ethereal light. Forging the Star Heart. For days and nights, Zorak labored within the celestial forge, guided by the teachings embedded in the artifact. He forged the star heart, a crystalline matrix infused with the essence of stars, its facets resonating with cosmic energies. With each strike of his hammer and each alignment of celestial symbols, the artifact transformed, becoming a beacon of hope for his world. The gods' approval. As Zorak completed the final enchantments, the gods observed his work with silent approval. The central figure nodded solemnly, acknowledging Zorak's dedication and skill. "You have forged the star heart, Zorak of Zoria. It shall serve as the heart of your world's salvation, a testament to your people's resilience and faith." Zorak bowed deeply, grateful for the gods' guidance and the opportunity to fulfill his destiny. A new dawn. With the star heart in hand, Zorak emerged from the celestial forge, his spirit renewed and his purpose clear. The artifact pulsed with celestial energy, a promise of renewal and prosperity for Zoria. As he returned to his people, he carried with him the knowledge and power to harness the star's energy, ensuring their world's survival and prosperity for generations to come. And so, Zorak stood at the precipice of a new dawn for Zoria, armed with the artifact of human knowledge and the star heart forged in the celestial forge. The gods' guidance had illuminated his path, and now, with unwavering determination, he would lead his people into a future shaped by hope and the enduring legacy of humanity's genius. The ascension of Zoria, harnessing the star heart. Armed with the star heart, Zorak returned to the surface of Zoria, where his people awaited news of his trials and the blessings of the gods. The crystalline matrix pulsed with celestial energies, a symbol of hope and renewal for their dying world. With each passing moment, Zorak felt the weight of responsibility upon his shoulders, knowing that the fate of Zoria now rested in his hands. Unveiling the star heart. In the heart of Zoria's capital city, Zorak summoned his people to witness the unveiling of the star heart. Gathered in awe and reverence, they marveled at the artifact's radiant glow and the promise it held for their future. Zorak stood before them, his voice carrying across the crowd as he spoke of the gods' guidance and the trials he had undertaken in their name. The promise of renewal. With the star heart activated, Zoria's scientists and engineers began harnessing its power, developing technologies that once seemed beyond their reach. The artifact's celestial energy fueled advancements in agriculture, energy production, and environmental restoration, gradually revitalizing their world. Fields once barren bloomed with life and cities illuminated with newfound vitality. Unity and progress. Inspired by Zorak's leadership and the gods' benevolence, the people of Zoria united in purpose. They worked tirelessly to rebuild their society, guided by the principles of cooperation and innovation. Artists captured the beauty of their world's rebirth, while scholars delved into ancient texts brought forth by the artifact, unlocking secrets of human history and wisdom. Legacy of humanity. As generations passed, the story of Zorak and the Star Heart became woven into the fabric of Zoria's identity, a testament to their resilience and the enduring legacy of humanity's ingenuity. Monuments were erected in honor of the gods who had intervened, their images depicted alongside Zorak and the artifact that had saved their world. The eternal connection. Throughout the ages, the celestial energies of the Star Heart continued to pulse, a reminder of humanity's connection to the cosmos and their place within the universe. The people of Zoria looked to the skies with reverence, knowing that their world had been granted a second chance through the divine intervention and the courage of one determined soul. And so, under the watchful gaze of the gods and the enduring light of the Star Heart, Zoria entered a new era of prosperity and enlightenment. Guided by the lessons learned from their trials, they forged a future where creativity, unity, and curiosity fueled their journey forward. Zorak's journey had not only saved his world, but had inspired a legacy of hope and resilience that would echo across the stars.